Hello and welcome back to my knitting podcast. I'm Kitty and I'm here today to talk about some knitting things and also some life things. So if you are not someone who is interested in pregnancy and babies, this is going to be a lot of talking about that. So, I'm going to try to keep it all in this podcast episode. And we can talk about just knitting next time. So just a heads up. So first, big life update to get out of the way is I am in fact pregnant with twins for a second time. So if you didn't know, I have 4 kids already. I have 2 singletons and a set of twins. So we are now expecting our second set of twins. It was a big surprise and we're very excited about it. But it has changed my knitting a little bit and I wanted to sit down and talk about that this week. So here we are. As you can see, I finished my field sweater and I love it, but also it does not, I'm actually going to pull it up a little bit here so I'm not stretching it quite as badly. So if you watched my last episode and thought, that sweater seems to be fitting her kind of poorly that she's wearing today, I was, in fact, pregnant already, and it was affecting the way my clothes fit. So that is a bummer, but I do think I will still get a ton of wear out of this winter. This is, like I said, this is the field sweater. The pattern is by Avid, and the yarn I used is from Sun Valley Fibers. It is their Superwash Blue-Faced Leicester. It is beautifully soft. I loved working with it. I love the color of it. I'm very happy with the fit of the sweater. I feel like this is one of my most successful garments that I've made so far. So of course I finished it right at a time where I didn't fit in it by the time I finished it, and the weather was just starting to get much warmer. So I'm really looking forward to bringing this out next fall once I will no longer be pregnant. The boys are due in September. I hope we even make it to September because with twins, there is a big likelihood of early deliveries. So, fingers crossed, September is the date, and it'll be too warm still to wear this in September. So that's that. I already couldn't really figure out the length on it because I was starting to bump out while I was finishing it. So I just compared it to a sweatshirt that I really like the fit of and kind of knit it to that length, and we're hoping for the best. We'll see. We'll see what it looks like come October, how it's fitting, how it feels. But that's everything I have for this. I've blocked it. I did try to tug a little bit on the sleeves during blocking. They're hitting probably where like a normal human would like the sleeves to hit. But I do like my sleeves to be a little bit long. I like them to be maybe a little bit over the hand, but I can pull them and hold them, which is honestly how I do it most of the time with most of my shirts. If I were going to change anything, I probably would change the sleeve length just that little bit, like maybe just another inch, but it's not bothering me enough to go back and fix it now. We'll see. I still have a ton of yarn left from this project. I don't know if I knit it shorter, I knit my sleeves shorter. I'm a petite person, so that might be the case. I'm only 5'2", so that could affect how much yarn I use, but I've got a full skein of this left. So I'm really looking forward to finding a use for that because I can make something. I've got a skein, maybe even like a skein and a half left of this yarn, and I just love this color. The only thing is when I blocked it, it did bleed quite a bit. And I blocked it in cold water with, I used the Soak wool wash. So I'm not 100% sure what I could have done. I I don't know, I've heard people like add a little bit of vinegar, a little bit of acid when they're blocking to help with bleeding like that. But since I'm not holding it together with anything, I washed it separate. We'll see. I'll keep you updated. I'll put some pictures of like, I have these old towels that I use for blocking. They were towels purchased when I was in college, and they're cream colored. So you can see, hopefully I'm putting a picture somewhere, what the yarn did to those towels. But it doesn't seem to be affecting me at all while wearing. It doesn't like run really bad. Like, you know when you wear new jeans and you get like dye on you? It's not doing that. So it's only when like very wet. It does remind me of a story though. When I was a kid, my dad would wear wool sweaters quite a bit, and he had a dark green wool sweater. And one time my mom wore it while they were at a pool party. It was cold in the evening and she had wet hair, and she actually dyed the tips of her hair green with my dad's wool sweater and had to go get her hair cut a little shorter than she intended. So I won't be wearing this with wet hair for a while. We'll see how it washes next time. I don't think you should be wearing wool sweaters with wet hair anyway, so that's really on my mother. But that's all I think I have to say about this sweater. I'm loving it. I'm really sad I'm not getting a lot of chances to wear it right away, but you know, the beauty of a hand knit sweater is it will be there for me when I need it. So that is the field sweater. I got on a roll of finishing things. So the last time we talked, this one was still a work in progress as well. This is my Netherton pullover. It is from Pom Pom magazine. I want to say #1. I made a lot of modifications to this. I had finished before, and it was 3/4 length sleeves, and I decided I did not like 3/4 length sleeves. I wanted long sleeves. So I went in, and you can still see it. I'm not super happy with this, but I do hope with continued wash and wear, you won't be able to see quite as noticeably where I went back in and picked up my stitches and knit the sleeves to be a good, probably like 8 inches longer than they were initially. And I did the math and went through and figured out how to make the little motif at the cuff by my wrist instead of at kind of the mid arm point where it had been hitting. Because of that, I was kind of limited in the stitches number that I could do. Like, it had to be down to a certain number. So these cuffs are a little tight while wearing it, which I don't love, but honestly, this was, I think, really the first sweater I made that fit me. So, you know, it's a historical garment. It's something that I'm gonna hold on to regardless of how it fits. I just like it as a memory. It is made out of the Hobie Amigo acrylic yarn. It's just acrylic. I want to say the color name is Ash. It's a nice kind of mousy brown. And I made it super cropped because I was also pregnant when I made this. So this is one, I probably should be wearing this one today instead of my field sweater, because it would probably be fitting a little bit better with this nice crop. I like wearing it over, I have a ton of those like sheared bodice dresses, and this is great to wear over that and in the winter when it's a little bit chillier to make those more versatile. So that is the Netherton pullover. It's a DK weight sweater. There is the pullover version and there's a cardigan version, which I am interested in doing that. I think it's a V-neck cardigan with this same kind of like moss stitch, slip cable, peak triangle pattern. It's very pretty. And I really liked it. I liked the raglans. I think it just worked really well. I don't love the yarn. It's very pilly, but it is very affordable. So, you know, you get what you pay for. But it is very soft for an acrylic. It doesn't have any of the like scratchy acrylic. I didn't feel like it was terribly squeaky while I was working with it as far as acrylics go. My only complaint is it is very kind of sheddy pilly once it is finished. So we'll give this a few more washes. Also, when I did the sleeves, I don't think I did a very good job of making them the same length. But we're not going to talk about that because I don't want to fix it. I'm not doing this again. It's done. It's checked. It is a checked box. I have finished it. And I'm not looking back. Up next on our finished object list. I'm just like plowing through projects lately because I'm not making things to fit me right now. So we're going to talk about some projects that have gone on hiatus because I'm not making things that fit me right now. Or more accurately, I'm not making things that won't fit me right now. So I'm trying to cross off all of those little projects that I had lingering and also some big projects. So like I said, I have twin girls. They are about to be 2. And I started their baby blankets when they were, not yet born. So it's been over 2 years. And I did not enjoy the process on these blankets. And before they were even born, just kind of put them in timeout, and I was very frustrated. So these are patterns from Dada's Place. I'll link it. I want to say this one is the Callista blanket by Dada's Place. It is crocheted on a size D hook, which I think is a number 3 D hook. And the yarn calls itself lace weight. Working with it, I would call it more of a light fingering. It's a little heavy for what I would consider a lace weight yarn, but it is very fine yarn. It is mostly acrylic with a little bit of yarn. Pregnancy brain is real. It is mostly acrylic with a little bit of wool. It might even be as high as like an 80-20, 80% acrylic, 20% wool. It's not the softest yarn in the world. I have yet to wash this. This says it's machine washable, and we were going to put that to the test. So I have yet to wash the blanket. It is, a nice baby blanket size. I don't know what you can see. I can't see anymore. So it has this cute picot and lacy border. It has these beautiful clusters of baubles. And this yarn is not my favorite to work with. It's very grippy, very sticky. It tangled coming out of the skein all the time. It was just yarn barfing everywhere. And I don't think I would use it again. I used it because it was the recommended yarn for the project. It is what it was designed with. She uses, I think, exclusively Elise Angora Gold. I don't know why it's called Angora Gold because it is not made from Angora rabbits or goats, as far as I know. It's wool. Is there an Angora sheep that I'm unaware of? Correct me if there is. But I found it to be very difficult to work with, and it is a very fine gauge, and it took a really, really long time to feel like I was making any kind of progress. So this one is finished. This is number 3 baby's blanket. And yeah, I really love the finished object. I just wish it hadn't been so miserable to make. I did notice there was a change in my tension. I don't know if you can see, you can see kind of there's like a bump in my tension where the sides are a little wobbly. I don't know if I added a couple extra stitches by accident when I picked it back up, or if I just I started out tight I got loose and then I got tightened back up again, but the edges are a little wibbly wobbly, but you know, she doesn't care. She's been excited to have her blanket, and it has been very motivating seeing her excited to have her blanket to work on my 4th baby blanket. So that, do I have anything else to, yeah, that's the next thing we're going to talk about is the next baby blanket. This is the Broadway blanket by the same designer, Dada's Place, and very similar, except it has the cables as well as the baubles. There's not quite as many baubles. Actually, I don't know if that's true. There might be just as many baubles. There's not as many baubles per cluster, but there's a lot more clusters. So this one has a ribbed border, crochet rib at the bottom. I actually think it's like half rib because it's only on the one side. And that is my other complaint about these blankets, is they have an ugly side. There's a cute side and you know, straight up, I'm gonna say it, this side is ugly to me. Don't like it. But this side is very cute. So I am, does anyone else do this where like I spend almost as much time doing math as I do actually working on the project? And not math like to finish the project, math like, all right, I have 70 out of 170 rows, which means that I'm, I don't know, 40-something% finished, which means that if I do so many rows per day, I will have it. So my math is that I'm currently about 40% finished with this blanket, which I'm not sure. Maybe that's right. It seems a bit short. I'm worried that I might end up doing a couple extra repeats on this one. So we shall see if I'm actually 40% done or if I'm going to keep going. But my math is if I do 3 rows a day, I will reach the finished length recommended in the pattern before her 2nd birthday, which is the deadline I have set for myself. It's kind of arbitrary. I don't know why, but I have done that. I have set that deadline for myself of I want to get this done by her 2nd birthday, with them both finished, so that I can start working on some new baby blankets, which we will be discussing in a bit here, because I made a lot of choices based on my experience with these ones. I also made baby blankets for my first 2 kids, and if you're interested in that, I can do like a whole baby blanket rundown. I've crocheted them all. I did not do any knit blankets, which is something that I thought about a lot this time around, but we'll get there. We'll get there. So this is the Broadway blanket. The Callista blanket was the other one, and these are for my almost 2-year-olds, and I will be finishing them up for real. I mean it. I guess I already finished the one, so I don't have to be too hard on myself. So next project that I'm going to talk about, I no longer have. I decided I don't want the Habitat cardigan. I don't want it. I was thinking about it. I've been working on it a little bit here and there, but I really was not wanting to pick it up, and I really wasn't wanting the finished thing. The yarn doesn't feel that nice to me. It's not a color that I enjoy. And so why am I like torturing myself just to do this thing, you know? So I should have trusted my gut when I put it down and didn't pick it up for like 3 years. So I have decided that that is gone. Next 2 things to talk about. I had to keep it warm sweater and the hoarfrost sweater. They're both pretty fitted, fingering to DK weight patterns that I am not going to fit in for a while, and they're both very wintry. So I have put them on hold. I wrote myself some notes. I put them on tubing so that I've got my needles all back, and they are just gonna hang out ready to be picked up at a different time. So you will not be seeing them today. You will not be seeing them for a while. They're taking a break. But there are a couple projects that I did want to finish up that I still had going. So these are socks. My children picked out this yarn for my husband. What happened here? Here, all tangled up. Okay. I don't remember what I was saying. This yarn, my kids picked out of my stash to make a pair of socks for my husband for Father's Day last year. So I want them off the needles by Father's Day this year. I'm just creating all kinds of silly deadlines that I honestly shouldn't need to make, but here we are. These are really simple socks. They're a 2x2 ribbed pattern. I found it for free somewhere online, and now I don't know where I picked it up, but I'll link either this pattern or something similar because I'm also going pretty off book. I use it just for kind of basic numbers. I've never made him a pair of socks before, but these are fitting pretty well so far. The original pattern called for a heel flap and gusset, and I didn't want to. So I did a shadow wrap heel, and as you can see, I have done the heel on both socks. I have been knitting these 2 at a time, magic loop on a very long needle, and when it was time to knit the heel, I just separated them because I wasn't sure my brain could handle that. So I separated them onto, I put one on tubing, worked the heel on one, and then switched it. So I just made sure I knit the same style of heel and the same, I did an extra 2 rounds after I knit the heel and then put them back on the same cord. So here we are, we're just knitting the foot now. They look so silly because they're ribbed and they suck in, and then I've got this like heel just hanging around. I'm trying to trust the process. I've never knit ribbed socks before, and I don't know I love it, but I was using originally, I have the Chiago red lace shorty set, the interchangeable set, and I don't like it. I don't like the shorties. I don't like the feel of the shorties in my hand. They were hurting my hands and they were making me not want to work on this project. So I decided the thing to do is just get the same size of the same brand needle, but the longer ones. So, you know, I'm working magic loop anyway. I don't need them to maintain my like circle, and I'm not working small circumference. I'm doing magic loop. So I went and I just got the regular ones. They're fixed size 2 US needles, and this yarn is the Patton's Croy Sock FX in clover colors, and I've got 2 skeins. I don't know if I need 2 full skeins, but I thought it was easier for 2 at a time to just work from 2 different skeins, and we'll see what we've got left over when we are done. They are definitely not like matching up, but I don't care. They're like gonna be warm, woolly camping or house socks, so they're fun colors. The kids picked it out, and I'm making progress on these again. They were stuck at like almost the heel turn for so long, and I just couldn't power through, but I did. Picked them up, been powering through because I finished this, I finished some other stuff, and I needed things to do. So these are gonna be, I'm hoping these will be done by the next time we speak, but since it's been months since the last time we spoke, I don't know what that means to anyone but me. Very little accountability around here these days. So like I was saying, I got the big needles for those, and I've got another sock that I've been working on that I want off the needles, but I was trying to do this with the shorties, and once again, I don't like working on the shorties. I prefer a long magic loop, and these are on the same size needle. So I'm gonna finish those, and then I'm gonna focus on these, but these are not gonna get any attention until the ribbed socks are done. So these are the Fons. I have no idea if that's how it's supposed to be pronounced, but that's how it's spelled. Socks, it means spring in Latin, according to the pattern designer. I haven't done any sort of critical research into that. I'll just take their word for it. They would know better than me. So these are the Fons socks. They're a broken rib, color work, sock, toe up, instead of cuff down, working both ways. And they've just got this cute little, they've got tiny dot color work with the broken rib pattern on the foot. And then they have a little floral color work motif at the cuff. I didn't bring the finished sock with me. I have one already done. This is the second sock. And yeah, I haven't made a ton of progress. I think I did literally 2 rows on this since we spoke in February. So not much to say here, except I will be moving them onto the more comfortable to work with needle, doing magic loop, starting when I finish my other pair of socks. And then I'm gonna think long and hard about my relationship with socks, because I don't know. I really like the idea of socks. I keep seeing people make these beautiful, cute colorwork socks. And I love them and I want to have them, but I don't know if I want to make them. So I don't know, we'll see how I feel using the longer needles and my more comfortable and preferred method of sock making, of small circumference knitting in general. I like magic loop. I like having a nice, long, flexible cord I can magic loop with. And I don't find that the small size bothers me. It is the short needles that was bothering me. So maybe once we get onto long needles, maybe we'll see where we shake out. But I've got a lot on my plate to finish before I can start really taking on new projects. So these are made with a loops and thread acrylic. They're probably not even going to be that great because they'll make me have sweaty feet, but I cast them on spur of the moment one day, and I'm not letting myself quit on them. So there we are. That's the Fawn's socks. I don't remember the designer's name. I hope editing me has the energy to put up some text here to help you out if you are interested in those. All right. Let's go back to baby blankets. I decided I want to make baby blankets for these new babies that are coming in the fall. We know that there are 2 boys, so I started looking at patterns, and I was really, really, really considering knitting baby blankets this time around as opposed to crocheting the baby blankets. And I got so far as even to making a swatch, seeing if I liked some of these patterns I was seeing, and I just wasn't loving it. I wasn't loving the process, and I wanted to enjoy the process. That's like the point for me. It's like, yeah, I'm product oriented. I like to have things that fit and look nice and that I want to keep around. But you know, there has to be a balance. There has to be a product and process in combination is what makes a hobby fun, I think. So I looked at a bunch of patterns. I looked at crochet patterns. I looked at knit patterns. The blankets that I made for my son and my daughter, who were they're my oldest, they're singletons. My son is 7 and my daughter is about to be 5. And their blankets are very kind of traditional crochet baby blankets. They've got a lot of holes in them. And they're always like tangling fingers in them and driving me crazy. Toys get stuck in them. And I have a whole book of patterns like that, of course. None of them were really speaking to me. None of them really called out. So I went to Ravelry, of course. And I found 2 patterns I really liked. And they both happened to be free, which was great. I didn't even sort by free. I was looking at paid and free patterns. I think that both are valid. So I found 2 that I really like, and I'm going to combine them. So the first pattern, I don't have the name. I'll put it on the screen here. You would think I'd be better prepared, having so much time, having so much thought about what I was going to say here for so long. But these are kind of spur of the moment projects. So I did find the pattern that I liked. I was really enjoying the look of it, but I didn't really love the border. So I think I'm gonna try to pop on the border of this other free pattern that I found. So I'm putting the name here, but I already got started on this. I'm using the recommended yarn again, which once again, I hope is not an issue because it is proving to be a little more tiring to work with. I am using the Hobby Lobby Yarn Bee Bambeautiful. It is a cotton viscose from bamboo blend. So it's very similar, I think, to the Lion brand Kobu, if you have issues buying from Hobby Lobby, which I have a lot of mixed feelings on, but you know, it's by me. So here we are. So we're using the Yarn Bee Bambeautiful, and this is a pattern. It combines just double crochets with the Suzette stitch, which is a single crochet, double crochet combination that creates a beautiful like leaning stitch. So that is going to be the main body of this. Is just going to be kind of striping, alternating between the double crochet rows and the Suzette stitch rows. And I think I'm going to add a shell border. I'm going to be using this pattern here as my reference. I might have to fudge it around a little because I did not think about that when I cast on my original number of stitches. I wasn't looking at what the multiples were for that border. I didn't even follow the original pattern. I cast on some extra stitches because I felt like it was looking too little. And now I'm like, maybe I made it too big because it is significantly bigger than the blankets I was just showing you, the blankets I made for my girls. I'm loving the feel of this worked up. I'm loving the weight of it. I'm loving the natural fiber qualities of it. But it's a little hard on your hands to crochet with a plant-based fiber versus wool or acrylic. It's just a little bit, I've noticed I can feel it in my shoulder when I work on this one for too long. So I've been kind of alternating these two, this one in with the pink blanket. So I try to do my 3 rows a day on the pink blanket, and I've been doing kind of 3 rows a day on this one. So you can see I didn't start it all that long ago. We're only a couple days in. But I really like this color. This is going to be Baby A's blanket. And for Baby B, I picked up, it is called Cognac. It's this beautiful kind of caramely cognac brown neutral color. I was gonna initially do blue, but I felt like it was, I don't know, the blue wasn't speaking to me. There was only one skein in the store. I felt like this one looked really nice together with the green. There's a part of me that thinks maybe I should do the green blanket with a cognac border and then a cognac blanket with a green border, but maybe that's too matchy-matchy. Everyone else has their own distinctive colors, so I'll probably stick with just a solid color. A green one and a brown one. Tan. Cognac feels kind of pretentious to call it cognac all the time, but it's kind of between a brown and a tan. Caramel, and I don't know. So that's going to be New Baby's blankets. I think these are just gonna fly compared to the other blankets. This is a DK weight number 3 yarn. I am using a G hook. Yeah, so we moved up from a size 3 to a size 6 hook. And yeah, the progress goes much, much faster on these than on the pink and purple blankets ever did. So fingers crossed. I've got summer to work on these, and I've got not a lot else on my plate. Although we've got one more thing to talk about, but I was a little sneaky, snuck in a little something for myself here still. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to working on these. This is a much more enjoyable process than the pink and purple blankets. No baubles. I don't like baubles, I realized too late into this project, but no baubles, nothing too fancy. The hardest stitch is just remembering, it's alternating single crochets, double crochets. It's the hardest stitch I'm doing is a double crochet. Easy peasy. I'm liking this project. That's all I have to say about it. I'll write up some notes maybe on Ravelry about how I'm combining the two patterns, what I'm doing a little differently. But since they're free patterns, I don't feel bad sharing that information. I won't be doing too specific stuff, but like I said, they're free. They're out there already. I do think they both have paid versions where you can get kind of like a clean version. You have to go to their website and like look at, a bunch of ads. They're kind of like, the old fashioned cluttery old pages. Like maybe that's rude of me to think they're old. But I've been doing this for so long that, back in the day, that was like a lot of online patterns. You just dealt with tons of pop-ups and ads and scrolling and fiddling stuff. And a lot of times you printed it and like, you just like crossed out huge sections of the page because it would print the ads too. And it was a big pain, but, that's just, if you want a free pattern, that's what you do. Unless it's coming from like a yarn brand. This is like, someone's blog. It's a blog pattern. That's how it works. And you can buy, I think it's like $4 or something for the cleaned up version. Which sometimes I do. Sometimes I'll do that. Sometimes I won't. We'll see where I land on this one. If I'm really enjoying the pattern, I like to support the designer by making the purchase. But if it's something just really straightforward, then I don't know if it's worth it to do that purchase. So, but we do have one more sneaky little new cast on. This was my Christmas present from my mom. We'll start with the swatches I did. So I started with the recommended needle size, and it was just creating a very like loose, gapey fabric. I didn't love it, and I was on gauge until I washed and blocked it. And the pattern does call for a non-superwash wool, and I am using a superwash. I'm using Cascade 220, and I don't know what color this is. I'll pop it on the screen. But because I'm using the superwash, I had to drop down my needle size 2 sizes, but then I was getting it close enough to on gauge. So this is my gauge swatch. That is the one that I'm using this size needle. This is a US size 6. And I don't think I even said the name of the pattern. This is the Amelia pattern. It's one of the designers from Hudson and West Co. They're a yarn brand. It's designed with their yarn. But I would have gone with their yarn. I'm kind of big on using recommended yarn. I think it gets you sometimes the best results with the pattern. But I don't want non-superwash in my life in a time where I have people drooling and spitting up and touching me with yogurt fingers all the time. My knits need to be long-lasting, very washable, very hard wearing. And superwash for me gives me the best bet of the longevity of that, where nobody's gonna accidentally felt my things. They're getting washed with more frequency than you would wash a non-superwash sweater. I know people are like, oh, you can wear them lots and lots of times, but not if you are getting crusted on by boogers on a day-to-day. So like I said, this is the Amelia sweater. Sloan from Hudson and West Co. designed this one. I know Megan is their other designer. I'll have all the information linked below. Please go support these people. But I'm loving this sweater. This is, I think, the back panel. The front and the back are knit the same. It's knit in pieces, a front, a back, and 2 sleeves, and then you pick up for the collar. So the pattern actually recommended that you drop down 2 sizes for your ribbing, and I did not. I want my ribbing to be a little looser. I want this to be a very comfy, oversized, casual kind of a sweater. So it is going to grow with blocking. I know that. So if it looks a little small, That's just because I look big. But I'm hoping to have this one for next winter. I want a cozy, comfy, wrap up and stay at home with lots of babies kind of a sweater. And I love this color. My mom got me this yarn for Christmas last year because I sent it to her with a very specific link asking her to buy me this yarn last Christmas. And it's this beautiful warm red brown with, it's kind of got a heathered kind of look to it. It's got some greens and yellows kind of flecked through there. Maybe not greens. No, there's a little bit of green to it, I think. Whatever. It's warm, it's soft, it's beautiful, and I'm really enjoying the process on this one. I love knitting cables. It's been a long time since I've done cables. It's got this basket weave texture on the side that keeps things interesting. It's got a little bit of that stripy feel. I just want to get through the next repeat. I just want to do, these are in 4-stitch sections, so like I just do 4 at a time. This one is a larger chart repeat. Chart's really easy to follow. I found it very intuitive. I barely have to look at the chart now when I'm knitting. I wouldn't say I have it memorized, but I do have it glanceable. I glance at the chart and go, oh, that row, oh, that row. So it's nice and easy, mindless, and I'm really, really excited about it. So that is all of the knit and crochet that I have to share today. Like I said, this is Cascade 220, the Amelia sweater by Hudson and Westco. If you have any questions about any of these projects, please feel free to ask, because I'm sure I forgot to say things because my brain is mush these days. But yeah, that's what I've got going on. If you'd like to see other kinds of content from me, feel free to drop that below. I would love to hear from you. So please give this video a like. Feel free to subscribe to follow along to see what any of these things will look like finished. I have been finishing things, so I hope I can keep that train rolling, and I hope to see you sooner than I did last week. I hope you guys are all enjoying your crafting time, and I will see you later. Bye.